Every sentient being is seeking the same thing. We're all seeking connection and intimacy with that which brings us life. And the challenge with this is that we've been conditioned to protect our emotions. Because we learned, somewhere along the way, we learned that our emotions, they're wrong, they're bad, we're too much. We have these protective masks that prevent us from feeling liberation because we're constantly shielding ourselves because we're afraid to be vulnerable. But here's the thing with vulnerability, is the moment we're vulnerable, there now is the absence of vulnerability. We are only vulnerable to that which we are hiding from, to that which we are protecting. And one of the greatest blocks to intimacy and connection is defensiveness, when we're having to defend ourselves. And as a byproduct, from here we relate to the world as if we have to be right. And the moment we have to be right, we make something or someone else wrong, which now creates distance from intimacy and connection. It takes real courage to shift defensiveness into curiosity, to relate to our own vulnerabilities first, our own wounding, our own pain, to bring compassion to ourselves, because our relationship with ourselves will mirror itself everywhere we go. Yes, everyone's on their own journey, and we will experience ourselves in relationship to other based on how we carry ourselves, how we hold ourselves, and how deeply we know what we are. We've been conditioned to live in the identities, in the stories of our mind. And the nature of mind is insecurity. It's looking for security in a world that is insecure. The mind is always moving. We've heard it thousands of times. The only constant in life is change. As I say, the only constant in life is you're in it. However, humans largely don't know who they are because they're so identified with who they think they are. But thoughts are always changing. The real you has never once changed. The relative you is always changing. The absolute you, well, I firmly believe the reason why we're here is to discover what we are. To start to develop a relationship with that which is infinite. And I call that love. Because the beautiful thing with infinity is it allows space for everything that's playing out in the world. It reminds me of the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna, human, Krishna, God Supreme, are having a conversation. And Arjuna is troubled because he looks across the way on the battlefield and sees his family. He sees himself on the other side of the battlefield. And he's in this predicament of, how am I supposed to go to battle with my family, with me on the other side? And this is a beautiful metaphor for the inner battle that we experience within ourselves. Because when we look for ourselves in the limitations of the world, we will always experience ourselves as fragmented. I'm reading this great book now about women reclaiming their power. And it's by a Taoist nun, dominatrix. It's like that polarity, that will guide us on our path. That will guide us out of our mind and out of our preconceived notions and our limiting beliefs. All of it. All of that is a protection to protect ourselves from feeling. The moment we're willing to feel, to be with ourselves intimately connected, we are connecting and communing with everything and everyone. And life will slowly start to shift. And sometimes radically. It's like there's a sense of life that is moving at a snail's pace. And there can be a sense of life that's like, holy crap, life is so expansive. Our ability to be with paradox, to be with polarity, will support us in our connection to what it is we truly desire. And as I say, our greatest fears are right up against our greatest desires. And perhaps, maybe they're the same thing. Maybe we all crave connection and intimacy so deeply, and we feel so wounded by our caretakers, by society, by how we were held when we were children, by being guided out of our emotions, out of our body, out of our somatic intelligence, which to me, somatic intelligence is far more intelligent than AI. We have a brilliance in our breath, in our prana, our life force, that when we come into connection with that, well, love supreme is the greatest intelligence of all. So, I feel like the point of life, the purpose of life, is to experience ourselves, to experience love, to come back into presence, and to be with, to connect with that which is fulfilling, which brings us nourishment, inspiration, aliveness. So when we lead with vulnerability, we give other people a perspective, a vantage point that allows them to soften the rigid grips that they're just holding on so tightly. It's like the softening allows us to let go, and it allows us to experience the bliss, the orgasmic bliss that is literally living at the center of our being, that is vibrating life. The same force that is spinning the cosmos. That force is the same force that birthed you into this world out of your mother's womb. It's a fucking miracle that any of us are here. But we forget. We're like, gotta prove ourselves in the world out there. We can come into right relationship with the world of material things. And we can experience the material world from a place that is so much more enlivening and enriching the more we align and come back to our own creative essence, our own creative power. And now we're insourcing. We don't need something externally to validate us. Yes, that can feel really nice, and we can have that. All is good. We can be in a very loving relationship. In fact, that might enhance our experience of ourselves. All of this is designed to enhance our experience of ourselves and to show us our boundless nature and who we really are. And there is no fucking end to that. So we can choose to live out of the box of society and the rules in a very loving way. Love is intelligent. But love teaches us in its own ways. There is the world of logic, and logic is not outside of love. And we can use logic in a way that keeps our defenses up, that keeps us in a place where we have to be right. And the need to be right is just, it has to do with self-worth. If I need to be right, I'm now making other people wrong. And that is a very insecure place to live, to build roots. So, that's all.